On the 9th of August 2024, a local Brazilian airline, Voepass Flight 2283, was captured in various videos falling from the sky in a truly terrifying and horrific manner. This aircraft, an ATR 72-500, was a Brazilian passenger plane that was en route from Cascavel towards São Paulo. But tragically, just a few minutes before it was scheduled to land, it became the victim of a fatal accident. In this crash, 57 passengers and 4 crew members lost their lives instantly. This was not only Brazil's first major and dangerous crash since 2011, but it is also being regarded as one of the most lethal incidents in the entire history of Brazilian aviation. In the viral videos, it can be clearly seen that the plane is in a state of freefall, dropping from the sky like a cut kite spinning out of control. Since the release of these videos, a wave of fear and concern has spread among those associated with the aviation industry, because regardless of the type of aircraft, a plane is never supposed to fall in a free-fall manner. Instead, an aircraft is designed to always glide down, even in an emergency. So what exactly was the reason behind this? While authorities have officially launched an investigation, we must look at what happened just minutes before the crash that could have caused such a catastrophe. Welcome once again to ZMTV. Voepass Linhas is a local Brazilian airline that mostly covers domestic destinations, and they operate a fleet of 8 ATR 72-500 aircraft, one of which unfortunately crashed on the 9th of August. The ATR 72 is equipped with 2 turboprop engines, and the number 72 in its name actually represents its seating capacity. It was manufactured in France and Italy by the aircraft manufacturer ATR, a company in which Airbus also holds a 50% share, sharing its advanced technology with ATR. This specific aircraft for Flight 2283 was 14 years old and had been purchased by Voepass Linhas in 2022 from Indonesia's Pelita Air Service. As mentioned before, this airline mostly operates on local routes. According to the flight data records, on August 9, 2024 at 9:06 a.m., the plane took off from São Paulo, heading 700 kilometers west toward Cascavel. That initial trip was completed perfectly fine, and after 2 hours and 11 minutes, it landed safely in Cascavel at 11:17 a.m. However, the flight was already running late according to its schedule, and it had to load new passengers at Cascavel and head back to São Paulo immediately. Therefore, after unloading, the cleaning and preparation were done quickly, and exactly 41 minutes later, it took off again for the return journey to São Paulo. On board were a total of 57 passengers and 4 crew members, including the pilots. The flight captain was 61-year-old Humberto de Campos, and the first officer was 35-year-old Danilo Santos, accompanied by 2 female cabin crew members. You can see exactly what happened from takeoff until the crash on the radar screen. At 11:58 a.m. local time, Flight 2283 took off from Cascavel, immediately took a left turn and began maintaining an altitude of 17,000 feet, which is known as the cruising altitude. By 12:21 p.m., 23 minutes after takeoff, the 17,000-foot altitude was stabilized. If one goes straight from Cascavel to São Paulo, there is a large mountain range in between, so to avoid this, all planes either go east over the Pacific Ocean or west over flat land. Flight 2283 took a slight left turn to bypass this mountain range and headed straight for São Paulo. According to the radar, the first hour and a half passed perfectly normally, with the altitude staying around 17,000 feet and a ground speed of 460 kilometers per hour. At 1:07 p.m., Flight 2283 took a sharp left turn toward the city of Campinas to set up its approach for landing at São Paulo Airport. At 1:21 p.m., while it was over a populated area south of Campinas, its ground speed dropped for the first time, dropping from 460 kilometers per hour to a sudden 159 kilometers per hour. The reason for this is still unknown, but by the next minute, at 1:22:02 p.m., the pilots managed to bring the ground speed back up to 400 kilometers per hour. Up to this point, the pilots had not given any emergency information to Air Traffic Control, ATC. This was the point where the plane had to turn right toward the airport, and we can see on the radar that the pilot began that turn. But just 13 seconds later, at 1:22:15 p.m., while it was turning, the ground speed dropped again, and simultaneously the vertical speed, the rate at which a plane goes up or down, began to plummet. Radar shows that the plane, which was flying at 17,000 feet, began falling at a rate of 13,000 feet per minute while spinning in circles. During this, the forward ground speed dropped from 400 kilometers per hour to just 100 kilometers per hour. This entire process took only 1 minute and 14 seconds. In that tiny window of time, the plane fell from 17,000 feet directly into the ground. It was descending at 180 feet per second, and the pilots likely had no time to even inform ATC of their situation. The distance between where the vertical speed first dropped and where it crashed is only 1.3 kilometers. The actual reason for this sudden fall will be known after the investigation, but based on current information, the area where it crashed had a SIGMET, significant meteorological information warning, for severe icing between 12,000 and 21,000 feet. If ice begins to freeze on a plane's wings, it is extremely dangerous because it changes the aerodynamics and reduces the lift that keeps the plane in the air. Another problem with icing is that it can jam moving parts like the wings, rudders, ailerons, and elevators, meaning that even if the pilot provides input, the plane will not turn. While modern aircraft often have automatic heating systems to prevent this or use chemical sprays before flight, the ATR 72500 uses pneumatic de-icing boots on its wings that inflate to break off ice, along with heating for propellers and windshields. Despite these systems, if icing is forecast, pilots usually try to avoid those altitudes. The black box of Flight 2283 has been recovered, and it is hoped that in the coming months, the true cause of this crash will be revealed, but for now, it remains a mystery how a plane could fall straight down from 17,000 feet. We hope you will like and share this my video. Thank you so much for your loving comments, and we will see you in the next wonderful video.